you for coming and believing in our system that's going to keep us all safe. And I also want to thank all the staff who are busy bees running around taking care of us. Isn't that nice? It's so great. I'm just going to do, well, I think you might know who I am. I'm Patty Lombard. I'm the 64th president. And I was thinking about how cool it is that we have 64 presidents, and the United States only has like 48, 49, right? And those were all men, and we are all women. Yahoo! And I think this is a more pleasant environment to be in right now than the US government. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys have lunch. They're going to bring it out, and then Lori's going to come up and introduce our program, and then I will be back. So enjoy and welcome, and thank you so much for coming, braving COVID and the rain.
If I could have everybody's attention for a minute. I know you're still probably enjoying the delicious Cobb salad, but we're about to begin our program. First, thank you all again. Patty welcomed you and thanked you, but today is not the nicest day to be out, and we really are grateful for you all being here for our first official program in our beloved clubhouse, so thank you. It is truly my pleasure and honor to introduce today's program and our guest speakers at today's program. As some of you know, Patty asked me to chair the search committee for our new executive director. And I will just tell you, I'm not going to tell you about her because that's what you're going to learn about today, but I will tell you that our committee unanimously and enthusiastically learned about her experiences, and were so excited when she decided to join our organization as executive director. And it gives me great pleasure today to introduce, our president, Patty Lombard, and Stacy Brightman in conversation, where you will learn not only a little bit about our traditions, for those of you who are new, but about our new executive director and about our exciting future that is based on our strategic plan. So, Patty, Stacy, please welcome them to the podium.
Because I'm so short, especially in comparison to Stacy. Well, thank you, Lori. Can you all see and hear us? So we're also recording this, so that's another first for us. I hope it works. Thanks to Stacy. Well, I have to thank Lori for her idea. You know, usually on Charter Day, we look back on our history and we recount our foundational stories. And it's a wonderful thing that we are sort of forced, because of our bylaws, to look back and remember from where we came. And I think there's a certain wisdom in looking back. But I thought what we'd do today, thanks to Lori's suggestion, is that we'd also look forward. So I think many of you know that Stacy comes to us from having spent nearly 2 decades at the Los Angeles Opera. She ran their public information programs, education programs, and everywhere I go, I meet people who say, "You're the one who stole Stacy." I was at a Parks Foundation event, and I met Barry Sanders and his wife, and they were like, "Wow, are you lucky?" And I said, "I know, we're really excited." And then last night, or Saturday night, I had the pleasure of attending Children's Institute event, which was honoring one of our neighbors, Suzanne Reinstein, and Stacy was there. and I had to get another earful of complaining from an opera trustee because we stole Stacy, and what were they going to do now? So we are super excited. What I think Stacy saw in us is some great potential. And so my first question is, if you feel like you want to fill in any more for people, I think everybody would be open to listening, but also, what was it about us that made you say, okay, I can leave this place where I can do this job in my sleep and come here where I will definitely be wide awake?
Well, first of all, thank you, Patty. Thank you, Lori. And good afternoon. I'm so honored to be here with all of you in our beautiful, beautiful home of the Ebell. So what made me think I should take that leap? It scared the heck out of me. I would say that I had actually been a member for 2 years of the Ebell because when I was introduced to this beautiful organization, I fell in love with the mission. I fell in love with this idea of a core of bold women who believed in each other and believed in the future, and that they wanted to, again, to quote our president, who opened this beautiful campus, Mrs. Reed, back in 1927, that we had a vision for thinking, planning, and working together to build a better future, and for all Los Angelinos, but certainly for women and girls. And I just, I'm a mom of a daughter. I was a Girl Scout leader for 10 years. I was part of National Charity League for 6 years. I'm part of, the steering committee for Women's Opera Network. Women's issues, advancing and supporting each other is where my heart is. And I thought, I wanted to be a part of this. And honestly, again, when that job description floated by, and it just, this gorgeous performing arts campus, this gorgeous arts and education campus. I'm a member of, I sit on a board for Historic Adobe. So, check, historic campus. And the idea of what it could be, that amazed me. The public education, this commitment, this robust commitment to education, and public education and diverse education, check, check, check. Women, supporting women, the philanthropy of the Ebell, through the scholarships, through our Extraordinary Rest Cottage Association, another 3 or 4 checks there. The historic costume and clothing collection. I was the costume mistress in high school, so I was like, oh my God. I taught at FITM for about 15 years. So I went, oh my Lord, they've even got gorgeous historic clothing and, check, check, check. And I think I felt like there was no place ever, if there was ever going to be a place that was calling to me or an opportunity and that it also scared me, this was it. And then the last part of that was, the more I got to know and talking to members and talking to board members and reading the strategic plan. If you haven't read that, I really recommend it. It's a quick read. It's powerful. It will inspire you. And it inspired me because I thought there is a vision here, and the potential here is extraordinary. And frankly, as we all know, the idea of women working together, thinking, planning, and working together, we're not all the way there. What are we making right now? 80 cents on the dollar for every man? So we've got at least 20% more to go. And I wouldn't be opposed to the idea that a woman makes $1.05 for every man making $1. So why don't we aim for that? So we have our work cut out for us as well. And I thought, I think I'm supposed to be here. I didn't know if the board agreed with me or the search committee, but I thought I had this gut feeling that this was what I was being called to do.
One of the things that happened in this process is that we realized that when we worked together, as many of you know, on the strategic plan, it really did feel like a wish list. We thought we could reach some of those goals, but we really felt like, well, it's going to take a serious shift in the way we are organized. And when we had the opportunity, when Philip announced his retirement, it struck me that this was the window to make that change. And we all love Philip, and we thank him for the extraordinary event business that he built. And I want to thank all of our servers who are here, people who have been with us, some new people, some people who survived the pandemic to come back. That's a testament to our special events staff and the work that was done. So we'd really professionalized that side of our brain, but we hadn't put that kind of resources and energy into the mission and the vision of the club. So even though it was going to be a challenge to replace him, we decided that we were going to take it. And when the nominating committee asked me if I'd be willing to serve, I thought, yes, let me do this now. Let me be that moment when we can make that change and hopefully play a constructive role. And then we had the pandemic, and it was like, oh no, this is not good. It was kind of a drag, and there was a freak out moment when we were like, ah. But in the end, I would have to say that the silver lining of the pandemic was that it really solidified our commitment that we needed to be more than an event place. We needed someone like Stacy to give us the capacity to realize our dreams. And so I think one of the things that I was going to ask Stacy about is if she could just spend a few minutes talking about how you're sort of envisioning this shift and this change and how we as members can help you achieve these goals for us.
Thank you. Again, I'm following the strategic plan here, so I'm not making up anything here. But I would say I'm following that as my roadmap. And what that vision is, imagine in 5 or 10 years, it might take us a few years to get there, but imagine you come to a campus, you come to our beautiful campus on a Monday, and it's filled with students, school kids coming here for their for a field trip, and we've got 500 fourth graders, and they're going up to the Fine Arts Auditorium, and they meet Amelia Earhart. And then they come here to this beautiful space and they meet Biddy Mason, one of the great leaders of Los Angeles, a black woman who came here as an enslaved person and sued for her freedom and then became a leader in a business leader. And then maybe you go to the theater or out to the courtyard and you meet Clara Shultridge Foltz, who was the first lawyer on the West Coast. But it's a Monday morning, so of course the place is busting with activity. And then we have members who are working and volunteers who are doing work and coming here for meetings, and they're up in the library and they're up in the tea room, and we have a chorale going, our beautiful Ebell chorale that's been here for 90 years, but it's now filled with 50 people or 100 people who are coming and singing together. And then there's the art class going on as well. And then later in the afternoon, our playwrights, our young playwrights group is meeting. And it's filled with women, we'll allow some men, young emerging talent. But this campus is being used the way it's supposed to be used, what that vision for it was and always was, robust, active. We are, you couldn't get this location ever again, this extraordinary location here on Wilshire Boulevard. We should be the hub for culture and arts and education of Los Angeles. Busy, I'd like to see us busy 24 hours a day. Well, that might be pushing it, but we'll give ourselves off, from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. or something.
Maybe 12 hours a day.
But, and all the nonprofit organizations, a vision, and we're already reaching out to them. The Women's Veterans Organization that is coming here and doing on Tuesday morning. They're coming here because they're having a pop-up health clinic, and we're able to be partners with them and help lift them up. That on Wednesday we have LA County High School for the Arts here because their students are going to be doing a recital or a concert that night that we're all invited to. So we're filling our beautiful campus with music and with art and with education, and we can't do it alone. I think that's what we've also known. None of us can do it alone. You gotta get by with a little help from your friends. And we are all, sisters here together. We are this core. You are that dedicated core. But it's the moment where we can all reach out as well. I think one of the things that you can all do as part of this is you have these relationships. I love matchmaking. I'm pretty ready to call anybody cold. I'm not shy that way. But you have these relationships that could just open the door and help create this future. We cannot do it alone. We've got to do it together. And I think that's the vision that I see in the strategic plan, and that's what I feel like we're meant to do. And that this beautiful, beautiful organization was always meant to be.
I have one more question, and then I'm going to ask you if you have any questions. There's some cards, and we can also do hot mics if you're more comfortable with that, although Meredith wants cards, so you just raise your hand. I would love to get your questions, but to that end, one of the things we've been doing, as some of you know, is looking at this building and what it needs and what we need to do to be good stewards of this building. And so thanks to the expertise of Christy McAvoy, who isn't here with us today, but she's going to be here on Wednesday, and we're going to trim the crepe myrtle. But seriously, we're still very hands-on here. But with an expert's help. But she has helped us figure out how to break this enormous task of stewardship of this building into a master planning project that will help us make decisions in a cohesive way. So Stacy has been part of these conversations. Stacy's been involved from everything to the electrical lines in the elevator. And, don't get me wrong, just because she is very well versed in public programs, she can do events like nobody else. I mean, she hit the ground running in July, so we've been really thankful.
I know more about our HVAC system than y'all ever want to know.
Exactly. And it's been really great because we know that we've got someone that we can count on to help us through this. But anyway, we reached out, Stacy and Christy and this team and the Ebell friends who've been helping us. We realized that we needed to fund this first phase. And so I'm looking out in the audience and I see Kay Ballou, who was responsible for helping us get one of the grants that's going to help fund it. Fran Varga is here, and Lorraine is here somewhere maybe. Lorraine is in New York, no wonder. Okay. So we have been working with the Ebell Friends, and we have assembled some of the resources there and some of the resources from our Preservation and Restoration Fund to basically put together the first phase of this $100,000 master plan. A key piece of that, though, was a leadership gift from Christy McAvoy, who said, we're going to need one more thing, and it's going to be one more of this, and I'm just going to make a gift right now. And so I'm going to let Stacy do the honors.
Well, this is the big announcement today. So we will be launching our fall campaign, our Fall Friends of the Ebell campaign, with a very bold goal of $100,000. And it's really about this phase one of the master plan. Because this will be the foundation that we need, this plan. It's a deep, deep dive, thoughtful, strategic. We will be able to take that then to large foundations and really seek out, frankly, the millions and millions of dollars we're going to need to make sure that our building, our gorgeous campus, our clubhouse, our theater are here for the next 100 years. Because we're making ourselves completely necessary to our community, and therefore our campus is completely necessary. And so it's big thinking, it's ambitious thinking, but we're going for it. And so you are the first to hear about all of this. But so yeah, give it up. I love that reaction when we tell you we're going to come to y'all for money. And then, just so you know too, we're going to do a very similar thing in the spring. There will be a spring campaign, and that's going to be about how we fill the building. Who are those partners? Who are those projects? Who are those things that really advance our mission and put us at the heart of Los Angeles arts and culture and education? So it's, you know, it's all bold, big thinking, and we're going to do it together. That's the whole point. Again, no one person does it. It's not possible for one person. And how lucky are we, all of you here, our extraordinary committees, our extraordinary board, they're all in, you know? This is our moment. It's lean in moment.
And so many of you have been members for a long time. And we really are thankful. Joyce Kleifeld is here. She's a Rotarian. That we love the Rotary. They've been a partner of ours for a really long time. And Joyce is no stranger to raising money. And Elsa. So, I mean, we have these partnerships in the community, and we're going to continue to use them and amplify them. And I welcome you to make suggestions and be in touch with Stacy if you have an idea. Just like we do programming, we'll continue to do all of those kinds of things that we have always done, but we're going to do this with a strategic eye towards partnerships and amplifying our voice and our presence in the community. And honestly, this city needs us now, you know, more than ever. It needs the sanity and the planning and the reasonableness of 400 some women.
Yes, it sure does. And you know, I would also say there's a, what I've also discovered is that, how do I put this? There's an Ebell style, or there's an Ebell ethos. And I would say that that is an ethos of respect, of kindness, of generosity, of patience, of grace, of taste, of, you know, aesthetics. And again, that is something that sets us apart, that we can do this in a way that is actually joyful and fun and gives so many of us an opportunity to feel like I'm doing something really meaningful. We are a big tent, and there's a place for all of us in this future of the Ebell. And I love the fact that we can do it, and we'll have a joyful, fun time. We will become friends through this work.
Yes, because we have a partner who's going to help us do that, and a partner who's going to lead our staff, which is really wonderful. So do you have any questions for us, Laura?
We have a few questions here, and I'm
good.
going to start with a comment and a question from a longtime beloved member, Wilma Pinder. And she says, and I think this summarizes much of the way many of us feel, "You are a dream come true. Welcome." And then she asks, "How can we help you?" Thank you, Wilma.
She's the best.
Yes.
Wilma is the best.
You have to tell everyone about Capri Manor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the story. This is, again, you have relationships.
Yeah.
You are, this group of women is so networked. You're so creative. You will see things, that you'll see opportunities that I don't have enough eyeballs in my head to see. I genuinely ask your help to help make these connections for us. I will tell a little quick story on Wilma, which was, I've already exploited the fact that she's a member here of the Ebell, which is we reached out to Capri Maddox, who's the executive director for the City of Los Angeles's Commission for Civil Rights and Human Rights, and also oversees the Commission for the Status of Women, right? That's a natural partner for us. So we wanted to reach out to this powerhouse, and we were kind of like doing, you know, like, oh, we'd love to partner with you. We're, you know, this is who we are. This is who we are. We're trying to impress her. And then I dropped it. I said, and Wilma Pinder's a member. That got her. That got her. She is so such a fan. So we are planning right now. We think on February 6th. This is a good example. On a Saturday morning, our theater is going to be dark. Our theater is underutilized on a Saturday morning. It's a perfect opportunity for us to host an event with the City of Los Angeles Civil Rights Commission, helping young people come into the idea of a law career. So we're going to partner, I'll go, knock on wood, we're going to partner with the City of Los Angeles and invite, a couple hundred students in, and they will, work together with them on a panel and some informational breakout sessions. But what an easy, natural thing for us to do, and what a great way for us to use our theater that doesn't disrupt anybody who wants to also pay us to use it, frankly. So really finding some of these underutilized times to, again, reestablish, reinscribe what a necessary partner we are in the fabric of our city.
And really, it was Wilma's connection that just Capri Maddox, whom some of you may know, served as the neighborhood prosecutor in this neighborhood, and she knows the community really well. And she's like, oh, Wilma, I've known her. She was a mentor of mine. And it's just like, yeah, that's right. And she believes in us. And so that was really just a natural fit. And we wouldn't have gotten there if we hadn't started doing the geography thing. Do you know so-and-so? So. Anyway, I just want to thank Wilma for being the stand-up person that she is.
Okay, on to the next, because we have a few more. Will you continue the multiracial cultural programs that our unique members constitute?
Absolutely, yes. We have to be representative of our entire community. We have to. It's a privilege to do this, and to be diverse. To be diverse means that you open the door for somebody, right? But inclusion, I would even go so further and say we want to be inclusive, and to really make sure that we have wonderful different viewpoints and life experiences at the table. And then the third, really taking that further so that all of our members are feeling seen and empowered and engaged. Yes. So going a lot further than just access and diversity, but really including inclusivity and empowerment.
Good. Continuing a little bit along that theme, how are you planning to address recruiting younger women so that we can keep our traditions going?
The $64,000
The $64,000 question. First, well, I'll tell you what I'm doing personally. I'm making everybody I know join. I honestly, that is something, and again, this is something that I ask your help. There's an adage in fundraising that people give to people. It's about the relationship. And, if I know Randy Jones and Randy Jones tells me, this is a good cause, you want to be a part of this, that makes me join. That makes me give, and that makes me join. So actually, that's the other assignment for all of us. Literally, a lot of my best girlfriends are all off in the Pasadena area. So we've got a fabulous new clique of Pasadena members here. But I really think, go for Pasadena. But I ask all of us, I hope that today helps and that you're getting charged up about this and that some of those folks that you haven't brought to an event recently, or you haven't just frankly straight up said, I really would love for you to join. This is the most amazing place and group of women. And it's a core of bold, engaged women who are doing good work. So that's a key. And then I also do think that this activity, when more members start to see that we have more activities on a Saturday morning. It was really interesting, the fact that we had to do our opening day on a Saturday morning. We actually had more young members able to attend because it wasn't during the weekday. So it's about finding that lovely balance, right? Having plenty of events that are on a Monday at noon that serve some of our key members and our core members, but also having events in the evening, or Zoom or more accessible times. So it's going to be a whole, collection of activities. But again, I think the more that the word starts to get out about who we are, that will also help. You know, when you start hearing how, you know, gosh, did you know that they're doing this with veterans? Did you know they're doing this with students? Do you know that we're doing this with college students? That will help fuel the interest and the curiosity about us.
And I'll also chime in a little bit too, which is that with Stacy's assistance, we're going to make it easier for people to volunteer and to work on committees and to have leadership roles without having another full-time job. And I think that's really important. And I want to thank my predecessors for being the wonderful stewards that they are and have been and will continue to be. But it is not a sustainable path for us to have the kind of intense volunteer positions. So with Stacy's help, we're going to try to, we're trying to figure out how to workshop this idea of expanding the board and making the responsibilities easier to shoulder among a larger number of people with staff support, where everyone's roles are clearly defined and we work together as a big team. And that volunteers are providing strategic direction, and someone else is stuffing the envelopes, unless you really love stuffing envelopes, in which case we were always happy to have. So what we really want to do is give you the ability to jump in where you're comfortable and pull back when you're overcommitted. And know that the work that you're passionate about will be carried on in a professional manner that's time efficient, as well as financially efficient, because the biggest chunk of our budget is our people. And we really want to redirect the focus of our people to the mission of the organization, which is not to say that we don't have an incredible value and appreciation of the economics of turning on the lights and appreciate how important special events are. This is no way an either-or conversation. This is additive, layering one more amazing professional view on top of another one. So I just want to make sure you are all clear on that one.
So speaking about new members and attracting new members, I believe that we have a number of new members here today. And there was a suggestion, and I think it's a very good one, that perhaps some of the new members since 2020, and that was a difficult period for us, might want to stand so that we can recognize you and thank you for becoming members.
Oh, please.
That
That would be wonderful. Stand up.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Yeah, thank you for believing in us.
Yes. Okay, a question on the archives from Kay Lachter, who is our archives guru. And she says, where can we get the strategic plan? Maybe we'll start. She has a few questions, so why don't we take each one individually?
I love the idea of, Kate, I'll email it to you, but you know what? I think it's also posted on our website.
Yeah.
I will make sure that it's posted on the website. And anybody here who wants it, we'll send it out. Maybe we can also include a link for it in our electronic magazine. How about that?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, you need a hard copy. That's easily done.
That's the easiest part. We'll get that to you today.
That was the follow-up question. Thank you. And she also indicates that they need minutes of the strategic committee, the strategic plan committee in the archives. They don't seem to have minutes of the meetings in the archives. So
That's a good
I think we have a little detective assignment.
Yeah, we might have to reconstruct some of those, because that was a very long time ago. Well, it wasn't that long. It was a few years ago. But we could possibly fulfill that gap with a paper or a report or something that gets us to describe the process that we did if we didn't take those minutes. No, there's always that.
And is everybody here aware of our extraordinary archival collection?
Right.
That is something, too. There's another wonderful opportunity there for involvement if you're a deep history lover. I think there's some exciting plans afoot for the archival collection, and they've done a beautiful, beautiful job. But, if you want to know about the history of women in Los Angeles, you have to come to the Ebell. Our collections are central to that.
And we do want to make those more available to scholars. Right. Because we want to make sure that the Ebell's place in the context of the women's history in Los Angeles is really sound and on an academic footing, as it should be.
Okay. And I think there is there's more to this question. Will the archives, workshop, and storage become part of our heating AC system? Very important.
Actually, I would probably defer, that's what the master plan is all about. Because I think the master plan is going to take the whole totality of our campus into deep consideration. And as you know, archival collections need very careful temperature-controlled, humidity-controlled situations. So that's a really special case, and you would have to be, and you and everybody else, the historic clothing collection and costume collection, that is in exactly the same situation. That really needs a different kind of climate control environment. And, we're sort of doing okay that our building is just cold now. But we'll have to really take that into consideration. And what I love about the master plan is, again, it's not going to be piecemeal. It will be about the big picture. How do we make sure those archives are safe for another 100 years? How do we make sure that the clothing is preserved the way it should be for the next 100? I don't necessarily claim to be the expert on it, but I certainly know that's why we're calling on the experts.
Yeah, we're hopefully going to have, as part of our master plan, recommendations on all of our systems, all the infrastructure of the building, from everything from lighting to railings, seismic safety, all of those things are incorporated. We're also looking at space planning. We don't think you should be stuck up somewhere far away and hard to reach. We would love to see the things that members use, and we want people to access in visible spaces in the building. We also have the capacity to digitize a lot of things, but we have to be organized about how to do that. I know that you know more about this than probably anyone in the room. So folding your needs and assessments into a larger picture is going to allow us to figure out when and how to fund those things, and to do it in a way that makes sense. It's sort of like we're going to take on a big renovation of our house, and we're going to make sure we know everything about it before we get started. So, and then we'll be able to plan what we can do and how to do it. And I can't tell you how lucky we are to have Christy McAvoy, one of the, really a nationally renowned expert in historic preservation with a ton of experience in buildings like ours. And, she's a volunteer.
And one of the new members who just joined is one of her great colleagues, Marla Felber, who's one of the other great preservation architects of Los Angeles.
Yeah, so we're lucky. But I think what everyone sees is the enormous potential of this place.
The potential.
And for those of you who've been members for a really long time, you've always felt it in your heart, and you've always hoped that we'd get it together, and here we are, getting it together.
There was actually, and I probably should have read this before, but we're hot in the summer, cold in the winter. But the archives and Friends are in the process of working, are putting together a partnership with the Huntington Library. So I think maybe you just want people to know that the Huntington Library, right?
Well, and you guys are amazing trailblazers, so thank you. Thank you for all that. And we want to let people know all the cool stuff that you guys are doing. So when you're ready, you can we'll make a program out of you.
Right. Well, and that's also consistent with our drive to develop more partnerships. Partnership with
exactly
the
on
Huntington
target.
Library.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that's terrific. We have another question about committees. When will committees be able to meet here at the Ebell?
You know what? We are in a transition stage right now. Two things about committees. One is, we were just speaking about this at the governance committee meeting, but we're going to start putting on the website the calendar so that you could see when all of the committees are meeting. So hopefully that makes it easier. If you've ever had a desire to like, what is the governance committee all about? Let me go just, check it out. Honestly, some of the committees, and we're really deferring to the groups right now, are more comfortable meeting via Zoom still. And we are respecting that. And it's actually, as you all know, Zoom also makes it easier for people who might be working during the day, who can't take the travel time to get here. So some committees are still meeting by Zoom, and we're letting the committees sort of decide that. But some of them have actually inched back into the building. So I mentioned governance. Governance has actually started meeting in the building. Who else? I'm spacing right now. Costumes is coming in, I believe. I believe also collections, the House Committee has been meeting actually in person. We've been doing a lot of meetings out on the arcade. Mm-hmm. So again, same thing. I don't know if any of you have started to come to Confab. What we're doing is that we took that survey, that membership survey, very, very seriously. And I really appreciate, if this is okay, I would love to speak to that for a moment. So you may remember at the end of August, we sent out a big survey to the entire membership, and we had more than 50% respond. And we asked you, are you comfortable coming back in the building if you're fully vaccinated? Are you comfortable coming in for a meal if it's inside? Are you comfortable being here with some folks who may not be fully vaccinated? And no matter what, we're going to be compliant with what the county and the city requires. That's the first thing. However, it was really great to get the temperature, if you will, of our membership. And overwhelmingly, people responded that they wanted to come back in the building, but they would only really feel comfortable doing so when everybody is fully vaccinated. And that if we have meals, some folks were not comfortable with meals indoors. If we have meals, they prefer them to still be outdoors. So that's why you see us doing what we're doing. And, you're here, so you're comfortable being inside. But a lot of our members are still very hesitant about eating indoors. And so we're going to really respect all of that. And we did actually, one of the questions we asked, I will share it too. We said, what if we allowed unvaccinated to come in, but with a test? How would you feel about that? How would you feel about your membership? And we actually had people say, I would be much more uncomfortable maintaining my membership if we had people mixed. That people were overwhelmingly much happier with their membership, knowing that everybody had a higher likelihood of being safe doing it. It was people looking out for each other. And again, I know we have some different, there are some differences of opinion, but that's what our membership was telling us. So that is a long-winded way of answering that question about when are we coming back in person. And then you also see us doing here. We got a brand new camera. Thank you, Amazon. And we are recording this, and we'll make it available for those who felt like they weren't quite yet ready to be here today. So I think you're going to find a lot more hybrid as well.
Yeah. That's great. And we're going to try to experiment with streaming some things too.
I want to hold it up a little closer.
But we thought for just this reason, right? We thought we'd try streaming some things, but we want to work out the technical kinks first, because we were not as satisfied with the way opening day, the sound translated on opening day.
But like these mic sounds are going directly into that laptop, which is now also feeding with that camera, so we should get a good quality.
Yeah. Assuming I do it right and hold it here.
Patty would just hold the mic up.
So if I could also add something, we also talked about putting some of these programs on YouTube. Now, how many of you knew that we have a YouTube channel? No, I didn't until recently either.
Oh, yeah.
So start looking for that, because we might be posting a few things there as well.
Absolutely. I like that some of our new members knew about the YouTube, but not some of our legacy members.
That's all I have, unless Meredith, if there's anything else.
105, not bad.
So Stacy, Patty, thank you so much. Terrific.
Well, thank you all so much for coming, and we really appreciate you coming out in the rain. And thank our staff for an amazing job. Meredith.
Bravi tutti staff.
Yeah.
Bravi tutti.
And Dwayne.
Happy Charter Day.
Yes. Happy Charter